I can't believe we're doing this, but a year later, we're talking about The Acolyte. The tier list in August have been a lot of fun. We're going to wrap up the month with a tier list. We were kind of like, well, which show do we do? Mando's got just so many episodes. Kenobi's not got quite enough episodes. Book of Boba Fett, I don't think that would be a wide array of grading episodes. So The Acolyte is where we landed. So if you haven't seen one of our tier list, or if you weren't here for our Acolyte coverage, I guess with this particular show, we have a few caveats to get through before getting into it. One on The Acolyte. I will say you can go watch our podcast coverage of it. It was fun. There were parts of it we liked. There were parts of it, as any show, we don't think are perfect. I would not call us blindly loving the show or blindly hating the show. We're probably just somewhere in the middle. As far as the tier list goes, the way we do these, we judge it in a bubble. So we're not grading episode 5 of The Acolyte against the season finale of Andor or against the season finale of The Mandalorian season 2, anything like that, right? Like that's not probably a fair comparison, maybe. I don't know. But we're going to grade it within its own bubble. So that's how that's going. And then we will average our scores as good as we can with math on the fly. So if Ryan says S and I say A and Kevin says B, that average would be an A between those three, right? So that's how we will figure that out. It will be a collective ranking. If you've missed any of our tier list, I'll link that below as well because it's a lot of fun. So now for the fun part, and I'll go in order of my screen. Ryan, what are your thoughts on The Acolyte?
I mean, I kind of feel like I'm the same for everything. I genuinely enjoy it. It's a fun show. I can totally understand people's criticisms about specific things in the show, but overall, I had a fun time with it. Like, I understand the criticisms, but I didn't let those things bother me. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, good. Kevin?
I enjoyed a lot of the show. To me, the ending was not maybe what I wanted, and we'll talk about that. But overall, there were most nights I did get some enjoyment out of it. Is it my favorite live action show? No, but that doesn't mean I absolutely hated it. And so there were definitely parts that I liked about it. We keep switching genres here. This was an interesting show because I felt like it tried to maybe combine some different genres. There was a lot of stuff going on in it. There was a lot of heavy lore. Some that was really impactful, some that wasn't, and then it was really more of a mystery drama, I guess is how you would categorize it. So I liked it from that aspect. It was a different genre that we haven't gotten in Star Wars, and I enjoyed exploring something different with it, even if it didn't end up being my favorite show.
Yeah. I kind of land somewhere there too. I think the highs in this show are pretty high, and I think the lows are pretty low. And so I think for me personally, it's not like a broad stroke or anything. Sure. So for me personally, it's a middle of the road show that's got a lot of fun spots, and it's got some spots that I don't like either. I think for me personally, when I'm comparing this to like what I think is the best Star Wars shows, The Mandalorian and Andor, I think those consistently have high spots all throughout with like little dips, and I think this show for me was just more like a roller coaster up and down, but still it was fun. So that's kind of where I land on it. When we were covering this, Kevin, I'm sure you remember all the comments and blockings and everything else with it.
Cool.
We had people that were like, we're not positive enough about it, and some people were like, you're too positive about it. So I think safely we're in the middle on this show.
No, if you didn't squarely pick a side, you had somebody yelling at you. So
yeah, and I think in those situations it's good to be in that spot, right, where it's no one's happy with you. You're out in the middle. So we're gonna get into this, and so the way we'll just go episode by episode. We'll talk a little bit here and there about the episodes too. I think the episodes we talk the most about are probably going to be 3, 4, 5, and 7. I think those are the ones that maybe are really good and also get hot button topics as well. But we'll start with episode 1. When I was thinking back to this one, and the episode's called Lost Found, And so on the press tour, to one degree, this was going to be like a mystery where we didn't know what it was going to be. And then on another side of the press tour, it's also like letting us in on what the mystery is. And then when you get into the show, within the end of the first episode, the mystery is kind of solved. At least what we thought the big mystery was with Osha and May being twins. But I thought it was a fun episode. There wasn't anything in this episode that bothered me for sure. The action's pretty cool to start it off. I think Master Soul starts off as a very strong character. I like the High Republic era on screen too. I think that's a fun thing to see. I have no real complaints about episode 1. It doesn't blow me away though. So for me, again, this is good, not bad, not anything like that. I would give it a B, just landing there on this episode. And Ryan, I have you next.
I thought it was a fun episode. It was the opening with Indara. I know that bummed out a lot of people. It did. I mean, I wouldn't say bummed me out. It caught me by surprise because she's a big actress. Everybody knows her from The Matrix and other things. Yeah. So it was kind of like, oh, she was in the promotional material, but this is it. But it was part. I mean, we learned it's part of the mystery, and this isn't it for her. But I thought it was a fun opening. Great fight sequences. The choreography overall on the series is great, but that was a really fun fight. And just a great opening, and I thought it was a fun episode. Yeah, it was a fun intro.
What letter would you give it?
I would say S. I mean, I feel like every opening, the first episode of every series is really strong, and at least in my opinion, it's a great opener. The intro to the series or season.
I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later too, but you're spot on with the choreography. Like this show, I think it's its strongest suit probably. It made Star Wars choreography really good again. I think Star Wars choreography had just been, to be fair, like it was not very good from like 2015 till 20 whatever year this came out, 2024, and then man, this thing just kind of blew the lid off of choreography. Kevin.
I like the intro. I thought it was a solid setup to the characters. I do think they didn't do a great service to a mystery show by revealing so much in the press tour leading up to it. I felt like there was a ton of information given out about it, so I wish I could have been more surprised by things. But that's not really an issue with the episode. That's an issue with obviously the press leading up to it. I mean, the choreography, just to echo that, is fantastic, right? Like, I think we were all excited about the lightsaber stuff, but even the hand-to-hand stuff was really intense and really fun to watch. That opening sequence with May and Indara was a lot of fun, and it was a really good way to start off. And after that, I feel like it does an okay job of kind of bringing us along for this mystery. It doesn't, kind of like Will, it doesn't wow me, but I really enjoyed it. So I'd probably put it at a B, but it's maybe borderline with A. It's a high B, I think.
So I've got 26 divided by 3. What does that give us? See, 3 times 8 is 24. So that means it's an 80-something. So I think it averages out to a B.
High B.
Oh, you were serious. I thought you were joking about that.
That is how we're average.
He doesn't joke about his tier ranking.
No, tier rankings. We are going to be up to stuff on it. Well, so 3 times 9 would be 27. So and we're at 26. So it would be, if this is a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, we would be like right teetering in between these two. So I don't mind rounding that up to an A because it would be a really high B at this point.
Okay. On a side note, I do like I like the episode titles, the dual ones. Because I do think they're a good play on the twins, and like not necessarily knowing which one is which for each episode, like who's lost and who's found. The next one, like who's out for revenge and who's out for justice. I did like the titles. Yeah, it raised some questions about that. So
if we don't bring this up by the end of it too, because I have a good chance of forgetting within the next 30 to 40 minutes. I do like that the whole time, like as far as the Acolyte, you think it's going to be May, obviously, and then Osha's the Acolyte by the end of it. I thought that was a good call. I don't think it was completely unpredictable, just as far as like storytelling goes, but I thought that was a good call to go that route. We'll probably talk about that by the end of it. But if I forget it, I really enjoy that aspect of the show.
Yeah, it was cool.
Episode 2, Revenge-Justice. This episode for me, again, I don't think it's as good as 1. I think a lot of times, as far as shows in general, Star Wars shows definitely have this go on. I don't know what it is, but I think the second episode is never as good as the first. Like, I feel like if we go through all these tier lists, there's always a little bit of a drop off in 2, but it makes sense because you've really got to throw it all out there for the first episode to keep people watching. So I think this one is a step down from episode 1. I think it introduces some cool stuff, like where Torben, is doing that self-imposed penalty where he's meditating for a decade or whatever.
Yeah.
His hairline suffered for the decade. I will say that.
Yeah.
But
still
we get in. Yeah. We got introduced to Chimere, though. He plays a very unsuspecting character there. This episode's, for me, it's a C. I mean, it is nothing special. Honestly, when I rewatched to do this, I couldn't even remember what happened in this episode. The only thing I remembered was the guy floating, and then Chimere being just so goofy, knowing now that he is the Sith. So it's average is where I would put it. I got it as C.
I like that he was goofy. I mean,
yeah,
because it was a good way of throwing, not just the characters off, but us off. You know, like you said, he's
I like that part.
So that was really cool. And this was I'm pretty sure this was the episode with the May and Saul fight, right? Before she's taken in.
Yes, and she uses the dirt to like blind him or whatever. Yeah,
that was a cool fight. And then she sees their sister. Yeah, it was a good episode. But yeah, I agree. And not that I think it's bad, but I'll say A because it's kind of like every series. Well, not The Mandalorian, but they aired both episodes together, right?
This one was a double feature.
Yeah. Because I think they do that because it's kind of like the first is heavy, and then they have the rest in the second episode.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of better as a twofer, I guess.
Yeah.
Because this is just the rest. But it was still good overall, but A.
Kevin?
I don't mind this episode. I'm a solid B on this episode. I like the Torben thing. Was it the Barash vow? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I think that's interesting. I do think kind of seeing I felt like this played really well into the mystery side of things. I don't love how all this plays out by the end, but just in this episode, I thought it did do a good job of kind of building tension on like why this guy feels so much guilt and why he's kind of really gone recluse to the point where he's, removed himself from the world. And there was some good fight scenes in here. I like Chimere. Obviously, he's one of the high points of this whole show. So I didn't really have anything negative to say about this episode. One of the things I did find interesting about that I don't know if I like it or not like it, because I don't know if it's good writing or clumsy writing, because it could be either one. Is I find it interesting that May she obviously thinks the Jedi are awful, but she defeats both of these Jedi by relying on them being good, right? Like she beats Indara by knowing that she'll save the other guy, right? Yep. She beats Torben by knowing he'll take the opportunity for like penance and redemption. So there's this interesting conflict between how she sees them, but yet how she expects them to do the right thing. And so I like that there's that kind of play on perception with her and the Masters. I don't know if that's intentional or if it just kind of fell that way and it doesn't go together, but I find it interesting. So I liked that in this episode.
I almost feel like that does have to be intentional, though, because by the end of the show, she is going to be on her way to being a good guy, essentially, right? Like she's taking those first steps into doing the right thing by the end of it. So now, obviously, she's like brainwiped or whatever at the end of it too. But like that's the path they're taking her in, though, is the opposite of they switch. The twins switch. One other interesting note on these first two episodes, I watched them from the couch of shame in the hospital on my
That's
shifts
right, you did.
with baby. So I had like iPad and baby watching these two episodes. So these two, obviously like greatest day of my life thus far. And it kept me awake during my first shift as a dad. So that was fun.
You were the most uncomfortable person in the room on that couch, right?
Easily. The bed my wife was in was, I mean, it was adjustable. She was sleeping pretty good. I mean, I wasn't.
No, we're kidding, by the way.
Yes, that is firmly tongue in cheek. Although it is an uncomfortable couch, there's a reason it's called the couch of shame. So, episode 3, Destiny. So, episodes 3 and 7, and I do like that the play on these with like two different work, like even though there's not a dash in the title, the episodes that correspond, it's still as if it was, because 3 is Destiny and 7 is Choice, and so it's still that play on the yin and yang, both sides of the coin. I do like that. That being said, I don't like this episode. I think just me personally, I'm not into this at all. Again, it's just my personal preference on how Star Wars is and how the show was flow. I felt like 3, and then as we get to 7 as well, I thought both episodes really broke the momentum of the show. I think it spent way too much time going back. I think maybe flashbacks would have suited better. Star Wars is full of a lot of flashbacks, but they're not always like 45-minute flashbacks. So I thought these stories happened at the expense of the current, and I thought the past kind of drug out and could have been done differently. So for me, episode 3 is a D. I don't like this one at all. Doesn't mean everybody else has to not like it. I know, like, some people love it. Ryan, what do you think?
I like it. I'll give it an A. I like that they went back and showed, because I liked it. Because I mean, I was reading up on the show. I was reading all the interviews for like 2 years before it even came out. Just like any interview, any article I could read on it. So I liked finding out that it was going to be a mystery murder and that things were going to go back and explain everything. So I thought that was really cool. We never got anything like that in Star Wars. I mean, I can understand, your thoughts on it. That's totally understandable. But I like that they took us back and showed us everything that led up to where they are with the characters. I thought it was fun. And yeah, just to go with episode 7, I thought that was a good episode too. I mean, I understand a lot of people would have preferred they were either together or back to back, but I kind of liked waiting for the reveal, personally, a few episodes until we get the other perspective. But I liked it.
I'm glad you liked it. I do think Mother Anastasia is a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
not
problem
as big of a fan as Mother Coral. Not a big fan of her. But I do think Anastasia is I think Anastasia is like a well acted, or like the actress did great, but also I think it's a good character. Kevin.
I do think maybe to me condensing this into like more flashbacks and stuff could have been better, because it's a lot to go back and spend a whole episode on this. But at the same time, it was meant to be like, this is the big reveal, right? Like, this is the big mystery kind of part that we're waiting on. Now, in this one, we only get it from Osha's side, right? So there's a ton missing from the picture. And so at this point in the story, I don't think I minded it as much. I think looking back on it, I don't maybe like the way some of the things age with 7, but at this moment, I didn't necessarily mind how it pushed the mystery along. There was a bunch of stuff, though, that I just didn't really keep me engaged. Like, I love the idea of these different force groups, but I feel like they were so much less fleshed out than like the Witches of Dathomir or something. Other than mentioning like threads, like it's very light on like how they view the force and what it does, and this ceremony. Like, there's this huge ceremony they talk about. But I don't know what it is or what it does or how it connects with the force or why one of the twins wants to do it, why the other one doesn't want to do it. Like, why is she so scared of this ceremony? Like, these are answers we don't really get. And so to have this big picture force ceremony and it just be so kind of nebulous and ambiguous, like personally, I just want to know, right? Like I'm the kind of person who I want to know like the details about these Force abilities and these people. And I get there's not necessarily always time for that. And so, I put it at C because I didn't mind the story part of it, the way it pushed along this mystery and how we just get a very fragmented view of it, a very misleading view of it. But there were just parts of it that I wanted more. I didn't feel satisfied with it, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it is after watching this, I just didn't feel satisfied with what they gave me. Yeah.
So even after seeing the whole season, you're still not satisfied?
Well, I don't like 7, so well,
Gotcha. No worries.
and again, it's just I don't know, and it does. I think this is a show that really, really comes down to personal taste in storytelling,
Yeah.
because they took some chances with things, and they did some really ambitious things and threw some things in there, and so I think we saw it in the reception. But this is, and people probably didn't handle it very maturely. But I do think this is just a show where parts of it you either it really you vibe with it, or it's just like, that's not my thing. And I felt both parts in this show. Like there were parts that I felt, and there were parts that I was just like, that's not really my thing. So
It's understandable.
So, really quick recap on our scores to this point. Our average for 1 is an 8.6. So I did move that to a B. I thought it was higher, 8 point whatever, but 8.6. 2, we have an 8 even. 3, we have a 7.3. So we've got 2 A's, or 2 B's and a C at this point. And I will say, if you think I'm being too negative on the show, the next 3 episodes, things are about to shift dramatically. I'm a big fan of episodes 4, 5, and 6. I think this show really gets cooking in episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm really just going to be super negative about 7 because I think it kills all that momentum. But episode 4, day, and then episode 5 is night. Again, love the duality of all this. I thought that was a really cool theme that they played throughout this whole series. I think 4 and 5 should be watched back to back. To me, that is the must-watch viewing of these 2 episodes. You have to sit down for whatever it is, an hour, and see both of them. So they go to, what's the world that they go to?
Kofar?
Yes.
Kofar. Yep, so they go to Kofar because they know that May is going after Kelnaka. That's where he's at. So we keep getting all of the fallout from this one mission to Brindok, right? Like everybody's kind of off in their own thing because it's such a bad event that happens. Not bad that I don't like it, but like it's bad for all of them.
Yeah.
And so she's going to get Kelnaka, and you can just tell, like, just from all the promotionals that we had, from really knowing where this story had to go, right? Like the Jedi don't know about the Sith come episode 1.
Yeah.
So you've got a whole bunch of Jedi going into the woods. Okay, we know exactly what's going to happen at some point coming up in these. And we had seen the promotionals, and it looks very similar to the planet once you get into 4 that it's going on. Yeah. So, I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road for this show. Big fan of it. I think it was at this point, it was pretty clear that Chimera was the Sith. By the way, like episode 4, I think it was very clear it was going to be him when him and May are going into the whatever, the forest. So 4 is an A for me. I like it. Under the guise of I know that 5's coming. 4's an A.
That's what I was just thinking, because it's kind of like episodes 1 and 2. These 2 are like connected.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you still talking?
No, I'm done.
Yeah, so I like that, obviously day and night, that they're both connected. So yeah, I like that, it kicks off with, they're on Kofar, and Kofar, I'm pronouncing it weird, and they're starting the whole mystery, and I liked it. It was just so cool. And we figured out what happens to Kelnaka. And the ending, that cliffhanger.
Oh, so good.
You see,
so good.
Chimera just slowly just lowering.
Yeah.
So creepy. And at first it's like you're focused on the characters, and then you see something moving in the background that catches your eye, and you're like, what
Yeah.
and it goes. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. There's a lot that I want to say, but I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, it was a great episode. But I want to save it for 5. But
So
It's fair.
what are you giving this one?
I'll say A,
Hey,
because
all right.
yeah,
Kevin.
I think I had it at a B, but after listening to y'all, I do think I like it better. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd put it at an A because it is a lot of fun. I really like May's transition in this. I think it makes sense, right? That she's kind of comes to this conclusion that she was doing all this out of a sense of revenge, but now she realizes, well, part of what she thought she lost isn't lost, and she'd much rather just
Yeah.
go live that life
Yep.
than continue this life of revenge. So I love that turn for her, that she's all of a sudden willing to abandon this thing. I like that little twist. I do think the Chimere thing is super telegraphed at this point, right? He drops lines from the Sith Code earlier, and he's just always around, talking like he knows everything that the Master wants. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a cool planet, right? Like visually, it's just a really, really cool place. And there's a sense of tension in this episode as it builds to this finale. And it definitely feels like one big episode that's been cut in half.
yeah.
That I think it was probably an episode that they were just like, hey, we got to split this. Because it definitely just flows that way. So yeah, it's a great episode. It really sets up 5 well. I think it moves past the Brendock stuff and picks back up the pace with kind of the mystery and really the first time you feel like there's some tension in the story. I think because you do feel like on this planet something's coming. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Was the end of this episode like May or Osha gets knocked out, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's kind of where it closes.
And then 5, she like kind of wakes up in a
waking up.
daze. We can go ahead and move
Yeah.
on to talking 5, but 5, she wakes up in the daze and just sees Chimere making quick work of all those
Yeah,
Jedi. Where he
great.
pulls the Jedi kebab, he stabbed
Yeah.
one and pulls the other. Then he like lobs their head off behind the tree so you don't see it. I'm sure that was to keep it rated teen or whatever, PG-13, TV-14. I mean, 5, if some random person that just knows like Star Wars is lightsaber fights, like I want to see some cool lightsaber fights, and they just pick Acolyte episode 5 and they know nothing else, the entire episode, I mean, I would say like 90% of it is just combat, right? Revolving around combat.
It is.
It's really good, but you get a lot of emotion as well because to this point, we are kind of, growing connected to some of these characters. I mean, Jackie is an obvious one, right? Like you really like Jackie. I thought she was one of the high points in this show, and I mean, that if she's seen the Jedi or the Sith, she can't make it, right? Chimera even says that. It's like it's a shame y'all saw me or something like that, along those lines. And then Yord, I'm not a big fan of Yord, mainly because he thought Anakin blew up the Death Star more than anything. The actor did. That's what he said on the.
Still.
I still do hold that against him. I think you have to know base level Star Wars facts. Also, this is a complete side note. Had the press tour never happened, this show would have been much more well received. Like I think people were just kind of on edge, and then like the little flaws that it had in general, people blew way out of proportion, stemming from that press. Yeah, like stemming from that. I think I don't think the big issues in this show were nearly as big of issues as people let on about. No. I think they came into it with a bad attitude. So that's why I don't like Yord, but I didn't let it, not let me like the show. But either way. Episode 5 is good. It's S tier for me, hands down. I am all in on the Stranger Chimere. Give him another show. I think he is so interesting. I think Manny is a great actor. He wants to be in Star Wars. He does the little 3-hole punch to Jackie. That was a solid move there. S tier, easy S tier.
Yeah, I give it an S too. Just to go back or to provide more information. I don't know if you guys know, but just like piggybacking off what you said. Like a lot of people just were not interested at all because I remember even before the Acolyte was announced. Remember when, of course, they announced the High Republic. There was a lot of people that were like, "Why don't you just make the Old Republic canon? Why do you have to create this other thing?" So once this was announced and they announced that it was going to be the tail end of the High Republic, they're like, why didn't you just make an Old Republic show? Why do we want this? So yeah, there was a lot of people that just were not on board at all. So I agree. People were just looking for any little thing. And when is Kiadi Mundi? Was it episode 2?
I think it was episode 2. That doesn't even bother me.
Because
like
he either doesn't know that the stranger is a Sith, or he could just not be revealing it to the council in episode 1, you know?
Yep.
And same with Kamir in that episode. In episode 5, he says, you might call me Sith. He never called himself Sith. So I think they were keeping in line with the conversation at the council in episode 1. So,
but they changed his birthday in Wikipedia. Ryan, come on.
I know. How did I forget?
That's what everybody was mad about. That doesn't bother me. Now, personally, I would not have put anyone in the original trilogy in this just to avoid said potential issue, but I don't think it's like burn this series down over. But episode 5, I think it's good.
Great choreography.
So you've got it at S. Kevin, what do you got it at?
Agreed. S tier.
S.
I mean,
I
think
easy.
It's telling, with all the people that hated the show, that after the show aired, they're like, okay, so this episode's good, but it doesn't mean the show's good, right? Like that was kind of the narrative.
You're so right. Yeah.
So it kind of tells you how really exciting this episode was, that even the people who were like super hating on the show, they couldn't be like, no, it's terrible, because I mean, it's just some of the best fighting we've gotten to see in Star Wars. So the choreography was just what I really liked about it was just the intensity of Kymir's character. Right? Like he's so aggressive
the whole time.
And the cortosis.
Let me tell you, man, when he headbutts that lightsaber and I'm like, this is cortosis.
Cool.
That was so exciting, right? Like that was just such a cool feeling. And this was one of the examples where I feel like they dug deep into Star Wars lore and pulled out some really cool stuff that really mattered. One of my qualms with the show is that they dug into stuff and then it didn't matter. It was like big things that felt just like they were dropped as Easter eggs that were big things. But this was one that I thought was like perfect, right? Like it fit his style, the aggression. Like you just see how it throws the Jedi off. They don't know how to fight this guy. Like they're so confused by how aggressive he is and how he just goes at. So all of that was great, right? The fight between him and Jackie, where she has the 2 sabers, is fantastic. And just the ruthlessness of the character on display is a lot of fun in this episode. Like you mentioned, we have, we lose people. Jackie obviously being a fan favorite. She kind of reminds me of Ahsoka in a lot of ways, except didn't die. Well, but no, you're good. No, you're fine. So it's a great episode. It's fun. It's a lot of combat. It's super exciting. So, I don't think for an episode that's just going to be combat, I don't think you could ask for much more. It was a lot of fun.
I think too, just if anything, like if the Acolyte does anything going forward, I mean, obviously, I hate to say it's canceled because like in a streaming series, whatever, it's not like NBC or someone's like, we're canceling this show. Like Disney still owns Star Wars. They could come back at whatever point and be like, you know what, we're going to carry this on, but considering that there are no plans for this to move forward, if it can have any lasting legacy on Star Wars, I think this particular episode did change how Star Wars is going to handle lightsaber combat going forward. So Leslie Headland pushed for them to come up with some kind of different saber prop, so it could be close to what was going on in the prequels, because they were using like all essentially what I've got on the wall over here. Like they were using a more dense form of those, and like if you wonder why everything looks like they're swinging a baseball bat, they're essentially swinging a baseball bat, like if you're in the sequels and stuff like that. And so the way they changed it to make it more like the prequels, and obviously whoever the choreographer is, it's the guy that choreographed the Rogue One hallway scene, right? And the same person,
right.
I may be making that up, but I think that was it.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, and it's so fluid. It's not like kind of clunky or anything, which is a lot of complaints that Star Wars has gotten. This lives up to it. I tell you, I don't think lightsaber combat is going to go backwards after this. They've got a clear blueprint here. Also, as far as this episode goes, you kind of start the unraveling of Soul. Now, I don't like how it ultimately unravels by the end of this, but I'm cool with it up to this point, because now he's it. He's the one who's got to deal with with what they have done at this
is where
point, because
they switch at the end of this one, right?
they get switched at the end. Osha and May do, and Soul is like visibly defeated right when they get back to the ship. He's sitting down. He's just having a hard time, and so and he is the last member of this group that went to Brendock. So I do like how it was set up at the end of this as well. The story aspect outside of the fighting, I think, was good too. So yeah, that was episode 5. Now episode 6, I think this is one of those take it or leave it episodes for people, because you come off just like you're going 110 miles an hour and then it's like a screeching halt once again. I do like this episode though. They're on Baldemnik. They are. And so I do like that. I like that you get a lot of layers to the stranger. You get a ton there. And then the Osha turn starts happening as well. I like that a lot. I do think it sprinkles in a good bit of Vernestra in this episode, right? Am I correct on that?
Oh, yeah. She's following behind, yeah.
Yeah, not a big fan of that. I can't stand that character. But I do like all the stuff following the stranger and Osha. I think it's probably the most character building we get in this whole series. This one episode is. So I'm like, I think I'm A or B on this one. I'm like kind of on the line. I think 4 is probably better. So I guess I'll give it a B. But I do like this episode a lot. Ryan, where you got it?
I would give it an A. Yeah, because I agree. Like episode 5 was just, it's kind of like you got to live up to that at this point. So yeah, 5. But yeah, 6. I liked it. It was good. It was good an episode. We got some more information with Saul, like you said, and Osha.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give it an A.
Is this the episode where? Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
You're okay.
Sorry. I was gonna say, is this the episode where the Basil fights whatever the droid, or is that episode 8? I couldn't remember.
Oh, it was 8.
Or yeah, Basil fights May. Right?
Yeah, this is where they get in a fight down in like the yeah. Which she goes to fix the ship or whatever.
Was this? I didn't know if that was 6 or 8 where that happened. I couldn't remember.
Oh, it's 6. It's 6.
Yeah, he and May get to fight in the ship in 6.
In the ship, yeah.
Okay. And that was funny. I did like that. Basil was ready to throw hands.
Gotta give Basil something to do.
I like Basil. Basil was good. But sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. That pretty much sums it up. I mean, I don't have much to say, but I liked it. I give it an A.
Yeah, I think I was on the leave it side of things. It wasn't my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I really like the Chimere and Osha parts. Just because again, Chimere's so interesting, right? Like I think it's a good carry on from 5 because he makes that comment of not really being a Sith. I don't think he considers himself a Sith, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're a Sith, you claim it, right? They're pretty proud of that, it seems. But yeah, he's really just got this mindset of like, I'm just looking out for me. I'm getting what power I want. And he said it in the last episode. He just wants a student, right? Like, and so I love the way he kind of begins to immerse Osha and like his way of thinking and like why he wears this mask and how the mask allows him to focus on his emotions rather than what's going on around him. I thought all that was really interesting. I just didn't love the May and Soul part of things. Just kind of the running around the ship, chasing each other. I knew it was leading up to him eventually confessing, but that's really in the next episode, right? So I feel like I just wasn't super engaged with that part of the story. I feel like I was just waiting on something to happen. So I like it. I like it better than 3.
Okay.
But less than the other 2
you had a C.
Yeah, so I'm like in between B and C. I think I'd put it at a C. I just
okay.
I don't remember super loving that episode.
So that gives us an 8 even.
That's a B.
So that is a B, and it's tied with episode 2. I will also say on this one, when she finally puts the helmet on,
Yeah.
it's like full fledged. Like, yeah, she's gonna be the bad guy at the end of this. And
Yeah.
and even
The breathing.
episode 8 though lets you like think like, oh, maybe she's not, but no, she is. Like this was it. I thought that was a money shot for this episode with her putting the helmet on. I thought that was really cool. Side note on the cortosis. Not to like, I'm not trying to like poke fun at anyone or anything, because I had to learn what cortosis was, and I had read the Plagueis novel, and I just over my head on a lot of it, and so when everyone's complaining like she disrespects Star Wars lore because the guy's headbutting a lightsaber, and it's like the most lore heavy thing like to know, and it's like no one can do that. So I thought that was funny. Cortosis is a cool thing. I'm a big fan of it now.
Yeah, it's cool because you can't really use it for protection with other things because it's like it's soft metal, but it absorbs energy, dissipates energy. So it's cool.
I think it's really cool.
It is. Yeah.
Again, this series has plenty of weaknesses. That's not one of them. Episode 7, I was contemplating adding an F tier just because I really dislike episode 7. But Kelnaka with a lightsaber fighting Soul and Torben will salvage it to give me a D tier. Again, same reason as 3. It's not my stuff, not my Star Wars. I think it's weird. It's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be my Star Wars. It can be someone else's. But for me personally, I don't like it. And I think that's what's great about Star Wars. People can like what they like and not like what they don't like. So for me, it's a D for this one. Ryan?
I would give it an A. I liked it. I liked both 3 and 7. I like that we find out that the sisters are actually one person split into 2. I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay, good, because I know a lot of people didn't. Because I
think that's interesting. Yeah,
because I know, like you said, I mean, it's a controversial episode. It's not for everybody, and I don't know. It didn't bother me that they, had space between both sides of the situation, but I thought it was cool to get more, find out more, because I don't know, it just worked for me, because like they said, it's a mystery. So I liked not knowing for a few episodes what really happened, or at least, from the other side of the situation. So it was cool finding out more and then seeing that fight with Kalnaka when he was possessed, fighting Torben.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, and Dara, jumping him and calming him. It was just so cool. And that was the same episode when Anastasia was killed, right? By Saul?
Correct.
Yeah. She was trying to help her.
Someone,
yeah. But he thought she was gonna do something to her, and
that was the weird that was that scene where he kind of stabs into whatever the big, like the almost like from Fantastic Beast. What is the guy in Fantastic Beast? What do they call that? How he like splits into stuff. It kind of looked like that to me.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called.
I've only watched the first half twice of the first movie. I want to watch all of them though.
Well, at the end of it, the dude looks like whatever happened to Anastasia.
The first one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to watch that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool because we find out she was just going to release her. She was going to let her daughter be a Jedi. She was releasing her from the coven. Yeah. And so Saul, he's. I like Saul, but he just didn't make the best decisions. But he killed her because he reacted too soon, and but it was all interesting. I thought it was a solid episode for me. So
thus begins the character assassination of Jedi Master Soul.
Yeah. I know. I don't like it.
It had to be coming though. They had done it to everybody else, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't love this episode. Oh, nice. You got Master Soul.
You don't... Oh, okay. So I'm the only one, so I give it an A, right? Okay.
It's not even necessarily the big story points that bother me. I think we get to see the big picture, which is interesting, right? I think it's interesting to see Anastasia and Coral definitely not on the same page, right? That Coral's pushing Osha to May to create some havoc here, right? Which obviously backfires. That's a huge part of the fallout here is her inability to accept one of them leaving.
Yeah.
But they drop a lot in this episode, right? Like the consciousness being split thing. I don't mind that. I would love. I want more on that, right? Like, what does that even mean? Like, how does the Force do that? That's another one of those big things you drop in without a lot of an explanation. I don't mind that it happened. I don't like having things so open ended without. That's just me though. I guess that's a personal preference. But like dropping like, oh, this place is a Force Virgins. Let's move on. Like, whoa, hold up. That's a huge drop. Like,
I do, yeah.
Like calling a planet a Force Virgins. Like, I don't want that to be an Easter egg. Like, I felt like that's how it was handled. That they just kind of mentioned it and moved on. Like, no, that's huge. That's substantial. Like, that's potentially why all this worked. Like, let's talk about that. My biggest gripe is why this all goes down is because Torben is homesick.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with that, right? That he's going to go against his master. He's going to sneak in to try to kidnap 2 girls.
He wants to go back to Coruscant.
Pretty significant things that he's doing against the Jedi Order because he's just like, I'm ready to go home. So I get you got to have something to kick off the conflict, but for me, that just wasn't it, right? Like that was not the reason that this should happen. I don't like Soul killing Anastasia. I feel like it's super impulsive of him to be this calm, collected guy that, and maybe he's not that now, right? Like I can accept that, but yeah, it's just weird. Like we get the idea that he just wants a Padawan to kind of validate himself. That's why he's so caught up on this, right? Like I think Indara fusses at him about it. She's like, you'll get a Padawan eventually. He's like, no, it's got to be this one. So, I don't like the way that carries over into episode 8. I like episode 8 better than this one for sure. But I had to put this one at a D just because there was a lot of stuff it just didn't make sense to me, especially kind of the driving force behind how this happened with Torben, and the story points themselves weren't the issue. It was just some of the connecting pieces that I just didn't mesh with me.
Well, I have a question for you guys then, if you don't mind. I mean, your points are valid, your feelings on Torben. What if, I mean, of course, we didn't get a second season, and a lot of this may have been, elaborated
fleshed
more
out.
on in more seasons. But what if you think they did that with Torben as a way to like trickle down into, by the time we get to the prequels, showing that the Jedi are imperfect and they don't make the best decisions, and that's why things led to where they are by the end of the trilogy.
I like that, right? Like I think it's going back to one of the things I liked about episode 3 was when they're like, no, we have a right to test these kids, right? Like the Jedi do walk around with just kind of this sense of, no, we do whatever we want with the Force and with the people who are Force sensitive. And we have a right to take your kids and test them, right? Like that's super arrogant, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the things that I didn't love about the way this show handled the Jedi is it makes it feel like everyone's like that. Everyone's arrogant. Everyone's like not capable of doing the right thing in the end.
Yeah.
I like that for a good part of the show, Soul feels like he's like a force against the tide, but then you kind of find out he's not. And so again, that's storytelling, right? Like people have their preferences in storytelling and how they want character arcs to go. Just wasn't for me.
It
is storming.
Dang,
Wow. I'm glad I live in a different part of the state than you do.
Sound like you're about to get it there.
Yeah, wow. Hopefully your power stays up.
That was pretty dramatic, actually.
We're in the same state.
I was gonna. Yeah, I mean, I hope you keep your power. Yeah.
Oh, you said a different state. We're in the same state.
I said a different part of the same state.
Oh, different part. Yeah. That's what I was thinking because I was like listening. I was like, is it about to go out? Please don't.
Oh, that sounds like one of those good old Florida storms. So I think on the lines of Ryan, what you said, and kind of piggyback on what Kevin said, I love the idea that this show is going to be the thing that gets the ball rolling on how can the Jedi get to this point that they've been completely fleeced. I think that is such a powerful storyline. I think they completely, in my opinion, did not stick the landing there because it makes this one group of Jedi almost look like the buffoonery going on. Like there's too extreme on like all of their flaws to me. Again, that's just my opinion. And then I think we'll get to it with episode 8, but like Vernestra is just complete and total cover up of it. It doesn't sit well with me how they handle. Like I think because you're 100 years away from it, right? So I don't think you're looking at like, oh, there's just this major lapse in judgment that causes like this huge havoc here. And oh, by the way, the Sith are back and we still don't know about it. Like, I think it should have been a trickle effect down to how corrupt they are, how we get there. That's my issue with it. Not that they end up being to the point to where all of it can happen as far as the storytelling goes. I think it was all too much all at once, in my opinion.
That's fair.
And I don't think I don't think it suited Soul at all. The way they built him up and then just dropped him at the end. I think he should have been more I think Soul obviously still had to die, right? Because he saw the Sith. But I think it could have been done without the character assassination, in my opinion. But again, like, I'm fine that people really like how it's this way too. Star Wars is really big, and people can think what they want about a really big franchise. So that's the beauty of it, to me, at least.
Yeah.
Also, again, kill Naka with a Jedi. That's just, or with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
how cool
fun.
is that?
Yeah.
You think I can't say his name, but he plays Chewbacca in the sequel trilogy.
Jonas?
Right? Jonas.
Like
Do you think he ever thought he would be
Satomo?
lightsaber wielding Wookiee by the end of his Star Wars tenure?
That's like a
Probably
pipe
not.
dream, right?
That's
gotta be
awesome.
Yeah,
like,
right. Like, you want to talk about the domino effect? Like, I'm really tall, so I get cast as Chewbacca like a decade ago, and all of a sudden I'm a Wookiee Jedi with a lightsaber. How cool is that?
what a great phone call to get, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need me to play who?
Give him more parts.
For real. Bring more Wookiee Jedi. Into this.
Yeah.
So let's go to 8. 8 to me, again, has some really high spots and really low spots. I think the combat, again, really high spot. That duel with Soul and Chimere is
good.
Were it not for Episode 5, it's like the greatest duel we've seen in Star Wars since Disney got it. As far as live action goes, it's very good, mixing the martial arts with the traditional saber combat. Big fan of that. It looked good too. I think the blue-red saber clashing, I'm a big fan of that color combination, as you can see back here. I think it looks really good on screen. So I thought that was good. I even think being back on Brindok is a good call here, right? Like, wrap it up where it all started. I think that's a good storytelling point. I think bleeding a kyber crystal on screen is really cool as well.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. Osha making the turn, I like that. Plagueis at the end, I like that. All those things are really good. Because all of the fans who are like, oh, this seems very much like Baldemnik, I bet Plagueis could be there, and then you kind of get that payoff at the end. On the same side of that coin, Yoda does not need to make an appearance, in my opinion. Vernestra is despicable, and I don't know that I like the May memory wipe. I'm not sure if I'm on board with that either. I kind of like, because if Osha is knowing all this stuff and turning bad, I think it's really powerful for May to also, her opinion, be changing and be turning good while she's taking all that in. So I don't know. I don't like those parts. This is between a C and a B for me, probably high C. It's got some high spots. I really don't like how it ends with like Vernestra explaining, like giving kind of the post-mortem on all of it, and it had to be a cover-up at some point. I just don't like how they did it. So that's my thoughts on this one. I guess I'm going C.
I give it an S, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, Vernestra, she was just so horrible, but it's part of the story.
You're not supposed to like her, right? Like, you're not supposed to. That's how it's written.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely did not like what she did. That was horrible. Just making Saul out to be a horrible person. I mean, yeah, he didn't make the best decisions. I will say that. But yeah, I didn't like that she did that. But overall, I mean, they had wire work, which was amazing. It was like The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
It was great. It was just an awesome lightsaber sequence. And like you said, bleeding the crystal, the hilt was cracked, so she was kind of doing it without realizing it. And that was awesome.
We got to see it too, yeah.
Yes, and yeah, then when she ignited it, that was awesome. What was I going to say? I have so much I want to say. Yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Yes. Yeah, because I keep going back to what if, like maybe it was in their plan for future seasons to maybe Man, who was it? May got the wipe.
Mm-hmm.
May
Or
gets
Osha?
the wipe. May gets wiped and goes back to Coruscant with
Yeah.
Vernestra.
Do you think maybe in future seasons Osha was gonna help her remember or bring her memory back, or like, do you think maybe that was in the plan, maybe for future
I think in future
seasons?
seasons, well, I mean, they were May was going to end up being good, and I think the
Yeah,
memory wipe is what allows her to stay alive because she doesn't
yeah,
know about this Sith. And
Yeah.
then I think the show has to kind of go off away from everybody we know for anyone to survive. So I do
true.
think Vernestra would have ended up not surviving somehow. Obviously, Osha doesn't make it either,
Yeah,
and eventually Chimere doesn't make it because we
yeah.
get to a certain point there. But yeah, I don't know that she was going to remember because I almost think that's the way that her character is actually going to get to survive by not remembering.
Oh, I'll let you go, Kevin, because I don't want to cut you
No,
off, but I just
you're
thought of some stuff.
you're good. No, go ahead. You can
I was
finish
gonna
up
say,
before I go.
again, I mean, of course, this is just a single season that we're talking about, so we do have to
Mm-hmm.
rank it
Yeah.
on this. But what if like in future seasons it would have been like um Plagueis and Palpatine taking out Chimere and May,
That would
killing them
have been
off?
Yeah.
interesting if it shifts that way to where the Jedi aren't even a part of it. That
Yeah,
would be cool. And like preserve, and they could call the show like Rule of Two or something like that.
Yeah.
And like preserving that, that would be really fun to watch. I would
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was originally advertised as in the early like development, that it was going to be a Sith-centered show. But I guess they
Mm-hmm.
Right.
changed it maybe because they thought. But I'll stop. I apologize, Kevin.
Yeah.
No, you're good. That's it. I agree. I think it would be interesting to carry on with those two and have them clash later on. There's a lot I like about this episode. I mean, you guys mentioned a lot of it. The choreography, the fighting, super, super fun. Looks really good visually. I also liked the bleeding part. I know that made some people very angry because of how it happened. Listen, I don't know. Canon is complicated. If you're
It's
sticking
fluid.
to canon because it popped up somewhere in a comic book and then got overwritten in visual medium, like, I'm sorry, that's just how it goes sometimes, right? Like,
That's how George operated.
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like the comics, they've had so much freedom in the past to just because that's what comics do. They really try
Yeah.
new stuff with new storylines and they're known for taking characters and settings and trying something different, right?
Yeah.
You can't use that as the basis for what you can or can't do, I feel like, in your big productions, because that's a lot to juggle. It's a lot to
I mean,
so I didn't care about it, right?
Yeah.
It happens again, and I don't want to drop any spoilers, but in Jedi Survivor, right, we see a very quick bleed that's not
Mhm.
like a focused, intentional thing that people feel like it has to be.
Just kind of happens.
And so I didn't mind that. I thought it was good. I don't like where Soul's at the end of this. He's kind of still just like, I did
Dead.
it for you. I was trying to help you. I was trying to protect you. Like, even at the end, like, he's still sticking to this story that it wasn't selfish. And that's where, to me, like, his character just, I feel like they did him dirty, right?
Yeah.
I feel like somebody in the Jedi at this point still had to be like, maybe we're not doing things right. Maybe we are doing the wrong
Yeah.
thing here. I feel like the take on the Jedi becomes almost like they're sinister rather than they're just arrogant.
Yeah.
But I get it, right? This was supposed to be a point of view from people who've been hurt by the Jedi, right? That was kind of the whole thing about the show, is looking from it from a different perspective. So I like the way it ends because I think there's a cool path forward. Looking at how they were split, I like the idea that as they were split, they were maybe split light and dark, but they were with the wrong side this whole time. And so maybe that Osha's always been kind of the dark side split of this conscience, and May's always been the light, but they've just been kind of with people that didn't push that, and now they're on the side that connects with this split. I think there's some interesting storytelling there, right? Like, how much are you by nature versus by your choices? And so I think it ended on a cool note where you could have gone forward with all that. I think that would have been really interesting to explore with their characters. But I also didn't love the stuff at the end, the cover up. I felt like Yoda was unnecessary. Like, do I love seeing Yoda? Yeah. Do I need him to be in the know of this like massive cover up with this thing that happened? Like, I'm not really sure what purpose that served for me. But I know I'm sounding really negative. I did like this episode, other than how
Yeah,
Soul goes out, not how he goes out. I like the Force choke. In fact, I
that
think
was
you and I
pretty
might
cool.
have. I think you and I might have called
Yeah,
that, Will, like in our predictions
I
that
think you did.
she was going to be the
I
one.
think you
I don't
said that.
remember,
Yeah, I don't think I
but
said that, but I think you
so that
did.
was cool. Yeah, I put it at a B. I liked it. I
B.
thought it was a good ending in spite of what I didn't like in the episode before. So
So that averages out to be higher than these, but lower than the first episode as far as the numbers go. Um, so yeah, I mean, also as far as Acolyte like being canceled, non-renew, whatever you want to call it, because it's
yeah,
again, it's different because it's streaming. Um, I think that it really needed a season 2. Like, even if I'm not crazy about a lot of season
yeah,
1, it's almost like it needs another season just to see where it would have landed. Now, I get I'm not the one funding this thing,
Yeah.
and obviously the director had a problem with spending money, right? That's why the show got
yeah,
ended, right? Is
yeah,
because she spent way too much money. I don't
Yeah.
think the blowback helped the situation. Like, I think if there was all of the negativity, there's a lot of negativity, but there's some positives too. I think had she stayed on budget, they would have continued the story. But I think blowing past the budget plus that
yeah,
was probably like a step too far, considering the spot Disney was in financially going
Yeah.
on there. But I really do think the story needed some more room, because I'm pretty
yeah.
convinced she was not about to tell Yoda anything that was going to goof with the prequel trilogy. As far as
I
like
wouldn't
what's
think
in
so.
Leslie Headland's head, I think she's about to say, hey, I think my apprentice is still alive, because we learned that Kamir was her apprentice. And she's going to be like, can I try to go find him? And that's going to be her own little cover up to go try to find him.
That makes sense.
Yoda's never going to know he's bad, stuff like that. Because,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not beyond Yoda to get shrouded by the cloud of the dark side, obviously. He says he was fooled
yeah,
by it. So I think she could go in and be like, yeah, I think he's alive. Can I go try to find him? I think that's where that was going. But
Yeah.
the way it ended, it was like, come on now. Like, the Kiadi Mundi, whatever, we'll overlook it. But what were you about to tell him? Like, were you about to let another person in on this? And I
yeah,
don't think that's what was going to happen, but we just don't know, because you just see his little bald head there, and they used the same puppet from The Last Jedi instead of a prequel-esque Yoda for
yeah.
whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, I would like an Acolyte season 2, Kevin. I think we were both on the record for that.
Yeah, I think it's in an interesting place now because obviously all the angry people have kind of moved on. They got better things to be really mad at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think you're left with the people who really loved it, and then maybe people like me who I saw a lot of things that I liked in it, and there's definitely things I'd like to see the story continue with, even though it wasn't my
yeah,
favorite show because I love Star Wars, right? Like just because things weren't my favorite doesn't mean I don't want to see these things continue because it's still fun and it's still Star Wars at the end of the day. Um, and so I do wonder if even if there's elements that, like Will, you mentioned today, like a Chimere story, right? Like maybe it
yeah,
doesn't carry on everything from this story, but maybe we just jump in somewhere with Chimere. Like there's
yeah.
definitely elements of the show and characters that I think in the aftermath of all the craziness that people are like, oh yeah, I would like more of this. I want to get more of this story or this aspect. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see if Disney does decide to do anything with any part of it.
I
That
think
would be so
eventually
cool.
that story does happen. What do you think, Ryan? Like, just with
I
Chimere, I
agree.
don't know that Acolyte season 2 happens, but I do think the Stranger is back on screen at some point.
Oh, I agree. I think, yeah, they're probably developing something right now. I don't know when it will come out, but I think so because I mean, Manny Jacinto's been at so many cons since the
That's
end of
true.
The
Yeah,
Acolyte, and he's just talking about how much he loves it. Of course, people are coming to the panels, people are meeting him at the meet and greets and signings. So, yeah, I'm sure they have something
Yeah.
brewing.
yeah. Manny wants to be back in it so bad, and
Yeah,
I genuinely think like Star Wars fans as a whole want him back in it too. I just
Yeah,
don't think
I'd
they
say so.
want all the baggage of the Acolyte with it, and I don't think that's what we would get. Right, wrong,
yeah,
or indifferent. So yeah, that was our Acolyte tier rankings. You'll notice here, and I think to me the Acolyte it's a fine average show, and if you average all of everything we set out, it kind of lands in an average area. It's got its highs, it's got its lows, it's got potential in some areas, maybe wasted potential in others. Not a perfect show. I think it's better than the Book of Boba Fett. by and large. I think it's a lot better than that. I think it's better than The Mandalorian season 3. I don't think it's better than The Mandalorian as a whole, but I think it's a much stronger story than Mando season 3. But again, it all comes down to dollars and cents, and they spent a lot more dollars and cents than they should have spent. And I am naive enough to believe that's true. As far as why it's not happening anymore, it makes a lot of sense when throw that many millions around. So either way, if you're still watching, didn't get mad that we were talking about the Acolyte, let us know. Let us know what you thought in the comments. I think we covered the full spectrum of likes and dislikes of this show. So yeah, it's a good time. Next week, I'll figure out something that we're going to do. We're probably done tier listing. That was a fun August, but I'll come up with some kind of topic for us. We just talked about Starfighter. I would say we'll talk about the new casting for that, but we've already kind of talked through all that ad nauseum. But stay tuned. You'll see what we're talking about next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.